Speculoos is a type of spice short crust cookie, resembling gingerbread. The caramelised sugar and spices make it one of the best cookies to go with your coffee. For those of you who want to get started on the speculoos, I have 3 options ready. The traditional version, ideal alongside your coffee or tea, the colourful man-shaped decorated cookies, or the spreadable version which can be used as a delicious paste on a toast. Most of the time, it's the simplest things which are the best. And that's no different here. With only 5 ingredients, you can conjure up a cookie tin filled with delicious speculoos in no time. Now I'm starting with the flour, obviously, and I'm using 300 grams. Because you should leave the dough for speculoos to rise, I'm adding some baking powder to the flour. A small spoon will do. Let's say about 10 grams. Everything goes into a mixing bowl, so no need for a kitchen robot. Just 2 firm hands. That's our flour. I'm also using Stork, 150 grams. And I'll crumble it into small pieces. An equal amount of sugar for this dough, and in the case of speculoos, I'm using caramelised sugar, so dark brown sugar. (150 grams), and now for the most special ingredient of speculoos, the famous speculoos spices. Originally a mixture of cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger and clove. And let us say, depending on your personal taste, you can vary somewhere between 10 and 20 grams of these spices. I'm going for a hearty speculoos, so I'm adding the full 20 grams. And that's it, actually. We can add everything to our bowl in a jiffy, and then it's up to these hands to do the work. You immediately notice that the crystallizing of the sugar and the smell of the spices will no doubt make for fantastic speculoos cookies. Gradually, you'll notice that the heat of your hands will make the stalk stick together with all the other components. And for the final part, I'm using the wooden board, making it possible to really get the kneading going and to let the flour do its work in this speculoos. Here you are. One nice big hole, just including every bit of crumb, and the dough for our speculoos is completely ready. And to prevent the speculoos from breaking or drying up, I'll wrap it in some plastic foil. It's as simple as that. And now it's totally ready to leave and set in the fridge. And while our speculoos is setting in the fridge, I'll already prepare the baking tray. And for this, I use a simple trick to prevent our baking paper from sliding, giving the corners of the baking tray a good layer of Stork. And maybe some in the middle too. A large sheet of baking paper, just cut it, and this is where a sharp knife comes in handy, like that. And look, that's not going anywhere. Perfect to start. And so I'm totally ready to roll out our dough. And yes, that half hour in the fridge has made the stalk solid again, providing a firm dough, which I can roll out nicely now. And then, of course, the good old rolling pin. Always start from the middle, and certainly in the case of speculoos cookies, we don't need to go too thin. And doesn't everybody want their speculoos nice and crusty on the outside, yet still a little bit soft on the inside? And then we need to be careful. And as you can see, in my case, if it crumbles too much, you can easily cut it in two, decreasing the risk of breaking the whole lot. Look at that. And now the speculoos is ready to hit the preheated oven at a temperature of 185 degrees Celsius for about 15 minutes. And yes, the speculoos turned out perfectly. You can nicely see these little cracks on the surface of our large cookie. I'll let it cool for a little while so I can cut it more easily, but make sure you don't let it cool too much, because then you're in trouble. Cool down just enough to cut it, and now I'll give the speculoos its typical rectangular shape. Now, it's a matter of working fast enough to avoid the cookies becoming too hard. If that happens, and obviously it sometimes does, put the baking tray back in the oven for a moment and the cookies will soften again. I need to hurry up now. Once cooled, our speculoos is totally ready. I can smell the spices and I can hear the crispiness, so our speculoos recipe is nothing short of a success.